Hi, I'm Charcy Curtis. Some of you may know me as Sister Diva out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. But today, this is the IM4GOD Movement podcast, and we have a guest today, a good friend of mine named Rob, that I went to school with. And I just want to let y'all know, thank you for tuning in, for all those people that's been tuning in. But you got to make sure that you go back and watch the previous people because you don't want to miss nothing. Because, the topic is basically just letting you know what God did in the Bible, He's doing today. And hopefully somebody out there, we can help them with a testimony. Okay. So today, I have a good friend of mine, like I said, named Rob. He was popular in school, y'all. Like, he was that dude with the polo and all that good stuff. But I have to actually say, just to look back at, us growing up until now, I would have never, seen us here. But, that's another story. Right. But can you explain to the people a little bit about you, just so they can feel like they know you a little better?
Well, of course, my name is Rob Barber. I'm originally from Philadelphia, Philly. And I moved to Fayetteville, North Carolina when I was young. I was in elementary school already. So it's just, I know a lot of people here. I've been here for a long time. I really feel like that I've been trying to put my footprint here. So after I'm gone, people will kind of remember me around
here. You definitely did that.
Well, I hope so, man. You just never know.
You really have. I have to say all the time, first of all, I want to say I'm proud of you. And, I'm so excited to know where God is going to take you. I've been watching you sometimes in your live. And I want to encourage you to tell you to keep doing that because, believe it or not, people are listening. Definitely. And you never know who you may change.
Right.
But today I want to ask you, that question, because this is about, helping somebody out there so they can be able to look and see, because they look at us and think we don't have nothing we went through and everything is perfect. Yeah. And that we know that's not true.
And
so we're trying to help them to understand that it's okay to make a mistake and God is a forgiving God. But at the same time, what was that first experience like when you realized God was real?
Whew. Yeah. The very first experience was more than likely when I was shot at a couple of times. It's nothing like the movies.
I can imagine.
That right there kind of changed my life. Just being shot at. And I wasn't shot at, and the crazy thing is, people always think like your first experience with stuff like that will be with people that look like you. Well, nah, it wasn't. It was with some white guys. And I didn't know them. They didn't know me. I was standing on Brad Boulevard. Growing up, me and my mother lived in an apartment, and we didn't have a phone. So I would go, when I would talk to girls or whatever, I would go around to the pay booth. I had a pager though, right? So when they would page me, I would run around the corner to the pay phone or whatever, and I would just post up and sit there and talk to them on the phone or whatever. So this particular night, I was standing over there at the phone booth, just talking on the phone. I seen a white van circle, and I wasn't paying no attention. I'm talking on the phone. And the next time the white van circled, they threw some pennies at me, right? So when they threw some pennies at me, I swear I'm tough. so I was like, I kind of dropped the phone, ran out in the street and was like, yo, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And then they kind of pulled out the parking lot. So I'm running literally after the van. And then somebody just hopped out the back of the van and just started shooting.
Oh, wow.
And that right there was probably like the most frightening thing in my life because I could literally feel, in my mind anyway, bullets whizzing past me. Scary, And when you can kind of see a bullet slow motion, it changes up the way you think about life a little bit. So that was kind of like the first experience. And the crazy thing was the police called him. Later on that evening, the police called him, and I didn't even press charges. I was just young. Like, I wanted to get my hands on them myself. And that's when it sounds strange, but that's when I knew God was real because I can't stop a bullet. And I'm not Superman and I'm not Flash Gordon. So when things are going right beside you, it's like God was just taking them, just moving, boom, boom, just moving. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Because I'm ducking But everywhere I'm ducking, I see more bullets.
Yeah.
So that was actually like a traumatic experience. You know, what they call a PTSD or whatever,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, like so. Probably a lot of young black men probably had that. You know.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so that was my first time that I really felt like that God was real.
So I gotta ask you the next question. When was that time? Because you know we all have our moments. We have that time when we've been mad at God, and we have to keep it real. You know, don't change nothing. You know, but when was that one time?
Never been.
You never been mad at God?
Never been.
Oh, okay.
Like, one thing about me, man, is I've always believed in God. I just don't have as much respect that I used to have for religion. And people think it's the same, but to me it's not the same. So when I hear like other people or they, you know, like, I'm not saying that I've never questioned things that have happened around me, but I'm never mad with God. Not at one point, because he's given me so much.
Oh, I agree.
You know, he's given me my family. I mean, for the good times and the bad times, because the bad times is what made me who I am.
Oh, yeah.
The good times don't really make, you know, everything is smooth sailing.
Yeah.
But when it's bad, and it shows your character, and God allowed it for me to continue on with that same character. You know, like, I don't let the bad time change me as a person, because I know that God is there. Might not be, excuse me, it might not be to my liking at that moment.
Right.
But I know he's there. I know he's gonna hold me down. And I always make a joke with some of my homeboys, like, yo, I'm God's favorite. Y'all know that. You know?
I feel you.
Because some of the things that I've been through in life, you're not supposed to be able to come back from.
Yeah.
You know, because I've seen other people fall by the wayside for the exact same thing. And that's why I always tell people, man, I'm not no better and I'm not no worse.
Right.
You know, matter of fact, I probably did worse. You know, but God allowed it for me to see another day. I'm not one of those people that grew up with, you know, like a lot of illnesses. My children are healthy. My wife is healthy. My mother, my dad, like, I just didn't grow up where everything was like torment to our family. So I had a good life. Even if I was to die today, I feel like, man, I did it all.
Right.
You know, from top to bottom, it does not matter. I did it all already.
Right.
And I'm cool with that. The only thing I haven't done is see a grandchild. You know, like, that's what, yeah.
Well, I've been there. You know, I'm there now. I got yeah, but
I heard, Grandma. I heard.
Grandma, it's called grandma. But what would you say to that person, though, that, you know, I mean, because, you know, you, like you said, you grew up and you didn't have any of that family that had illness or anything. What would you tell that person out there that may have that? You know, what would you tell that person?
Well, for one, you got to find yourself.
Right.
But the main important thing is that you have to, before anything else, really find a belief in God.
Right.
You know, beyond anything else, if you can find that belief in God, I believe that he'll guide you, you know. And you don't even realize that it's him guiding you. You think that you're doing it all yourself, but you're not, you know. Like, this is kind of weird because I have a very serious belief in God and nobody really, I think people can tell.
I can tell.
But I don't really talk about it. You know, I talk about, I believe in God. You know, it's just that simple. Because I realized that nobody's going to be able to get me in heaven but me.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's about my actions, my interaction with people. Can I inspire people to believe in God also? So I do it, but I do it kind of real subtly.
Yeah.
Because nobody likes to be preached to.
Right.
You know, some people, they hear you, but they don't hear you.
Right.
So you got to kind of say it in a way, or just kind of give some of your trials and tribulations.
Right.
You know, what they call that?
Testimony.
Yeah. You definitely have to give your testimony, so so people will respect it.
Oh yeah.
You know, because they don't believe you. You know.
No.
You know, like when you start talking about all the things that you've been through and things that you did, they don't believe you. You know, but around here, because I've been here so long, they saw it.
Yeah.
You know, like they saw certain things happen to me, and they believed that it was over for me. You know,
Yeah.
I posted my best friend Charles Edge. He always tells me that he hates when I post this picture of when Fayetteville Police Department had locked me up. And I always post a picture, probably like once a year, you know, like around the same time of year. You know, like, and he always texts me like, man, I hate that picture. You know what I'm saying? He said, man, I remember everything that was going on that day. He just hates that picture. And I love it. Like, every time I look at that picture, I'm happy. Because you got to go through something to get to the next phase. If I didn't go through that, I might have just kind of been doing the same things, you know, just kind of dilly-dallying around, you know. But when you go through something, you start realizing you don't got that much time left. So you better do something. You know, you better create some kind of impact on people. You better help people. You better do this, you know. So then I started moving different, you know.
And that child out there that may be encouraged, you know, what would you tell that child as far as, you know, you said, you know, you got the jail picture and everything, but what would you tell that child that, you know, they constantly find trouble, you know, like what would you tell that child?
Well, first of all, don't find trouble, you know.
Well, you know,
you definitely shouldn't be looking out for no trouble.
Shouldn't, but, you know, that child, they need to hear a encouraging word from a cool guy like yourself. Like, what would you tell that child?
Focus. You know, find something to focus on.
Right, that's true.
Something good to focus on. Like, some people, all right, I just believe everybody focuses on something different. Some people focus on money. Other people focus on women. If you're a woman, some women focus on men. Some people focus on their career. But you have to find a focus that can keep you grounded until you can build more, you know? So you got to be like, I was always focused on taking care of my children. I had a child when I was 16. I was always focused on taking care of my children and making money. As I grew older, I didn't want to be alone. So then I started focusing on my children, making money, and being a husband to somebody. Didn't know who at the time, you know? And I mean, that's how I just kept doubling up, you know?
And I have to answer the question, you know, what do IM4GOD mean to you personally?
It definitely means, to me, it's a direct representation of what it says. It's IM4GOD. It doesn't say I'm for religion.
Right.
It doesn't say no disrespect, but it doesn't say I'm for Parks Chapel.
Right.
It doesn't say I'm for Simon Temple.
Right.
It says I'm for God.
Right.
You know, the inspiration that comes from God is like no other.
Right.
You know, sometimes words don't even have to be said, and you can realize that God did that.
Right.
So the IM4GOD movement, I remember when I very first put on the first T-shirt that I got from you.
Right.
I was standing outside my shop, and you was like, "You better take a picture.
Right.
You better take a picture and post a picture." And I was like, "All right, Charles, man, I'll take a picture." Right. But I had so many people ask me about this shirt after, because I believe I was one of the first people that actually got one.
Yeah, you was, and I had just changed up the quality of it. And that's why I had brought you this time. I wanted to see what you thought about it or whatever.
And you remember what I said?
Keep it this way, though. Don't change it. I said, well, this is more expensive, but you like, keep this one, whatever. But, you know, I mean, it's funny you say that, because, I mean, like I tell people all the time, you know, all I'm trying to do is get people to get their own relationship with God.
Right.
That's it. You know, like, just stop with the people, man, woman, whatever. Just get to know him for yourself.
Yeah, but, like, you remember me and you had this conversation. I was telling you, like, a lot of times it's hard for people to see past you.
Right, exactly, because it don't say I'm for Charcy. Like, you know, so many people be like, I'm gonna need you to realize and read I'm for God.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, like, so it's very difficult for those people to see past you, you know, to say, you know, because, you know, I've known you for always getting money. You always have money, ever since I've known you. So in my book, I just know that of you. You know what I'm saying? But then when I started seeing you do the IM4GOD, only because I talked to you, I knew you was genuine about it. It wasn't based on you selling the shirt. Anybody can sell shirts.
Right.
But when I started talking to you about the shirt, then I knew you was genuine. Because you would just go on and on. You'd be like, la, 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 and I'd be like, all right, Chelsea. All right, Chelsea. You know? Yeah. But that's when I knew that you were really trying to do something with it.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't just like a fly-by-night thing.
Oh, no.
And then every time I talked to you, even if we were talking about nothing that had to do with that, you would say something about it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how you know when people are really trying to do something. Right. You know, like when they take every opportunity that they have to mention what they got going on. Right. Because they, you know, like I always say, people try to say like that they want your support. Nah, but they really need it. You know, like they need the support of the people that's around them.
Yeah, they do.
You know, because that's what gets them to the next level. Yeah. You know, I see a lot of people, they leave from where they're at to get that support there and then come back and they say, well, yeah, people here didn't support me. No, that's not true. You just didn't go about it the right way.
Well, I guess I'm not going about it the right way because I have more support on the outside.
No. You think you do.
Okay, I'm going to let you slide.
No, I mean, it might not be, see, because you got to realize that there's different types of support. See, every type of support isn't only going to be financial.
No, I'm not talking about financial.
Nah, I mean, so people repost your stuff. I see it.
They're not from here.
I see people from here repost it. Maybe it's the people that you want to, or not really want to, but it's people that you interact that you expected them to.
No, I don't really expect, like, that's one thing I can actually say, like, anybody that wear, I want you to wear because you're for God. I really don't, for real, like, if it was up to me, like I said from the beginning, it'd have been 10 shirts, and that was the ones that I went to go get print for myself to let people know I'm not ashamed of me and God relationship. Right. So I have to be real with it. Like, so it's bigger, it's way bigger than me.
Do you think that people are ashamed of their relationship with God?
They probably is, but that ain't for me to judge. But my thing is, you can wear everything else, and you mean to tell me you can't, if you supposedly say you for God, you mean to tell me you can't put on support his movement? Yeah. But you'll go buy Versace, Prada, Gucci, and like I'm confused. Or if you go buy a bunch of them and just give them to people, you know what I'm saying? But like I get, like what I tell people,
I can curse you out in a Versace shirt.
You can.
If I have on an IM4GOD shirt and curse you out, I feel uncomfortable.
And that's what it is. I mean, I have people, believe it or not, that reach out and they tell me their story on that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I have plenty of testimony, but like I tell people all the time.
But that's a good thing, though.
No, it is. And it's about respect, the fact that you respect God. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's bigger. I had a man, he said, you know, he wanted to cuss. He was going to cuss somebody out, but the man told him, like, hey, look what you got on.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
I'm back up. Today's not the day.
Right, yeah.
You know,
so you have to really, it's a respect
don't want to be
thing.
a world star with that IM4GOD really, cussing somebody out, right?
Right. And I mean, I love that, but I love about the testimonies. It ain't got nothing to do with the money. Because, that's the story. But the testimonies really fill me up. Like, literally, when people come to me, from kids, the adults to elders, and they say, hey, you know, let me tell you my testimony. You know what I'm saying? I just really get overwhelmed, and I just like, hey, did you tell God thank you? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't never want nobody to think, because my prayer every day, God, keep me humble, you know? So, I mean, I appreciate it. And, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, you know, maybe things may change because, you know, you on the show, and I might get a lot of support from Fayetteville. But honestly, I'm being honest.
Man, believe it or not, man, Fayetteville loves you.
Okay. But anyways.
I mean, but you can't, like, don't overlook it. You got to embrace it.
I will when that day comes.
See, you know, when you leave a room, you're not in that room anymore.
Oh, no.
Right? But if people still talk about you in that room, that means you did good.
I mean, I understand that. I totally understand that.
Like, sometimes, and I realize this with myself also, the support don't come like I want it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
But it be there. Yeah. You know, like, it be there, like, you know, even in conversation that you and I have, and you be like, everybody pay attention to you. Everybody. And I'll be like, no, they don't. And then you see the face you take?
Okay, all right.
Right, but for me, I'm just a chubby dude from the Merc. Like that's how I think about it. Like, but when I realized later on that they was paying attention, that kind of makes me correct my steps too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because when you feel like nobody's watching, you kind of just do whatever.
Oh yeah.
The second that you know everybody watching, you know, if you're a person like myself, you kind of shape up like. Yeah. Yo, they watching, you know. Well, you know, what caused me to shape up is, of course, my children.
Right.
Not even my first child, because I was still young. I was so young that I ain't really paid no attention. On my second one, I was shaping up. On my third one, I was super shaped up by this time. On the fourth one, they know nothing about anything that I used to be like. Right. They will only know this. And my fifth one, which is my youngest, which is Blakey, he only knows his dad being a business owner at home, taking care of his family, and always being there. That's all he knows.
And that's okay, because like I said, that's the whole point. Like, the reason why this podcast is to let people know that it's okay, you're going to make mistakes. And God forgive, he's a God to forgive. And, you know, so that's why I like to really iterate to people that it's okay. You know, nobody's perfect, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you know, I got to even say, you know, if you had one thing to say to the people today for what's going on, what would that be?
Just really try to love as much as you can.
Right.
You know, try to love and forgive people. Yeah. People be holding on to a lot of hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And that hurt makes them act and operate a certain way. If you just get on Facebook one day and kind of just scroll, right? It's a lot of hurt people out here.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And they are trying to cope with the hurt by saying they don't care. But we know you care because you're talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, so, but I guess the second thing would be, to me, is be who you want to see.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Lead by example.
Most people don't.
Oh, no.
You know, like a lot of women, they want a good man. But are you a good woman for a good man? You know, a lot of guys want a good woman, and they'll say, ain't no good girls out here, man. Everybody on the city girls. I'll be like, I found one. Like, what made you not be able to find one? You know? Maybe because I'm God's favorite.
Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. Well,
but yeah, man. I mean, you know, just be what you want to see.
Right.
You know, and that kind of makes everything easy. If you want somebody to be easygoing, then be easygoing.
Right.
If you want somebody to be non-judgmental of you, then don't be judgmental of nobody else.
Right. Do what you want to do to you. But like I tell people all the time, you realize how much energy it takes to even remind yourself that you hate that person, because normally we speak to people, it's just too much. That's too much energy. It's too much time. So, you know. Yeah. But I have to thank you for coming, and you have to come back again. And I want to thank y'all for tuning in. And remember, check that IM4GOD website out.
That's right.
And make sure you look at the rest of the podcast. You just never know who we may have on there.
That's
and
right.
Remember,
buy some shirts too. Buy some shirts.
Please do. Right. Remember, God loves you, and we love you more.
Definitely.
Take care.